And we're talking about haters. We're talking about people that, like, oh, like, how does Tim have this stuff? And like, if only they could look behind the curtain and see the consistency, see the hard work, see the sweat, see the jacked up hands, like the hours that I put in, 16, 17, 18 hours a day. Like, you want to know why my businesses are successful? It's because I put everything into it, and there's not a recipe. I do not own this. Like, that hard work with consistency over time equals success. And if you look out on these mats that have multiple world champions on them right now, I just turn this thing around. You see all these guys
killing it.
Yeah, getting ready. Like, these are the best in the world. How and why are they the best? Like, they train with the best in the world. They surround themselves with the best. They seek the best, and they put their egos aside and go out there and try to improve. Consistency with hard work over time is going to give you success.
That's easier said than done. Like, seek the best and put the effort in. Like, I get those things, but how do you get there? Because this is for the people that are not in that position. These are the people that do not seek the best. Their egos are threatened. They want to still be on top. They might bring people down. Like, what's the shit that they have to face so that they can actually transition into being a valuable human?
I mean, it's heartbreaking when I see somebody that wants to be something, and I know they'll never do what it takes to be that.
Right.
And there, it has to be intrinsic.
Mm-hmm.
Intrinsic is something that is self-motivating inside of you, right? So as you're getting ready for a fight, high on the emotion, I'm getting ready to go overseas on a deployment. I have a ton of adrenaline. I have a little bit of fear. I know that I'm going to be going into in a non-permissive environment where, people could even want to kill me. Like, I have all of this natural motivator. Well, I'm not going to get better in that little bit of time leading up to that deployment where my emotion, this elation of me wanting to get better is motivating me. The time that I'm actually going to get better is the time before that, when I have to be showing up. I have to be technically working on a skill. I have to be trying to find how to get to that next level. I'm putting that ego aside. I'm seeking out professionals. Again, like, I think I'm a pretty talented shooter. I think I'm a pretty talented grappler. I think I was a pretty talented fighter. I would go all over the world to find these people to train with me. They would beat me. I didn't like that. That doesn't feel good, but that is
because you like to win.
That is a win. You're not going to get better in an environment that you're the best. You have to find areas where other people are challenging you and pushing you, and only in that struggle will growth occur.
So consistency. So not just doing it when you need to, but literally making a lifestyle out of challenging yourself and putting yourself up against the best over and over again.
All the time. And when I say that's intrinsic, that is discipline. That emotion leading up to going overseas, that emotion that you have before a fight, that emotion that you have after you go to a seminar, that emotion that you have after you go to a driving course, that ends, I don't know, 3 days, 5 days, maybe a week. Well, what do you do for the next 3 months? That's discipline. And that's where consistency is. And if you don't have that, then you don't have what it's going to take for you, whatever that goal is, whether it's going to be being a better father, it's being a professional athlete, it's being the best driver. Like, you're not going to ever be that without that discipline, that consistency with hard work over time.
How much of that, I mean, like, I just have this theory that human nature is to do the minimum. And like, my minimum was just different. Like, I got yelled at for being only a half a second quicker than everybody on the racetrack. Like, my minimum was not very low. It was pretty high. Wow. But I have this theory that people just, that's to do the minimum. So like, how much can you actually learn later? I got discipline when I was a kid, but if I was a lazy person that didn't have discipline, didn't have goals, didn't have vision, didn't have bravery, like, that's so hard to learn later. So, I think before we kind of talk about younger, because that's where we're going to get to next, like, when you're older, it's difficult. I like, in my own world, I do a lot of spiritual growth and also like personality and emotional growth and all that stuff. And like, I tell everyone, it sucks. Like, if you really want to grow and evolve, it's going to suck. It's not just like, oh, I'm just punch me in the arm a few times. No, it's like meltdown. Like, you have to really go through it. So what is the suck as an adult to actually get to the point where you have discipline and you can be consistent? Like, what what are some things you have to face? Your childhood, your parents, what? Your new
Right.
friends, move cities.
Yeah, you are 100% right that the earlier you start, the easier it is. But at no point is it ever too late. And that is a lie where it's, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's a lie. Go get a dog. I can show you. I have Belgian Malinois that yeah, it's easier to teach them young, but yeah, they're the best, and you can teach them anything anytime. So what are the things that we have to put on the side? You are who you surround yourself with. And the bar set for you was a high bar, the bar of expectation of being a second faster on the track. Everyone in my family were high achievers. The bar, me being a two-time, fighting for the world title 2 different times. When I came back home, my dad was like, but do they call you a champion? Like, you have a long road to be a contender again because you lost that fight. Just cool, you're in there, but you didn't win it. We have Olympians, we have people in the Hall of Fame in my family, and that's the bar. And so at what point do you start setting the bar for yourself, for you and your family, for you and your children, for you and your spouse, where you guys are going to say, like, we collectively are going to start eating better? And I know this for a fact, that if you're faithful in the small things, you're going to be faithful in the big things. There's no way that you are going to see big results without making small changes. And those small changes matter. When General Mattis was asked, what is the most important thing that he does in a day? He said he makes his bed. That's the first small choice that he can make in a day, is to make his bed. And then the next thing is, does he have a cup of coffee or does he have a big glass of water? It's better for him to have a big glass of water, so he does. Does he have a sugary cereal for breakfast? No, he just has a nice couple eggs scrambled with some sourdough toast. Now he's 3 decisions into his day, and he's made 3 great decisions. Now we're starting to see a trend that's going to happen and carry us through the day. But more importantly, you're going to see a momentum of energy that starts compounding, the exponential J curve or whatever. You start making better decisions, lots of little decisions. It gets easier to make the harder big decisions, but you will not make the harder big decision without being faithful in the smaller decisions. So again, it's discipline.
Love that. Love that so much. All right. Okay, let's talk about the school. Cause when I saw you post about doing the school, I was like, I don't even have kids and I just have dogs. I have Belgian Malinois and a little miniature Siberian Husky. But I don't have kids. My sister has 4, and obviously all my friends have kids. And where I come from with school is that I have a GED. I left school when I was 16. I moved to England. I went racing, and I don't have formal education, but I wouldn't call myself stupid. I would say that I'm pretty smart, and I feel like in school there's just so many things that even at the point that I left, I don't use. So that's where I come from school. And so I look at so many aspects of it, and I just think, man, so many things feel like they need to change. So what are the things that are wrong with school? Because obviously it led you to the place of creating one. So what did you see that you were not okay with?
Yeah. So education, let's separate education from school. And right now those are being conflated between the two. Those are very different things. Like, just because you didn't go to proper formal education or proper formal school does not mean that you're not educated, right? If you look at the original Socratic deep thinkers, the philosophers, they were not ones that went to a proper school, right? They read books, they discussed, they debated, and in that their learning was elevated. Their education was elevated. That is different than school. And we've done a very dangerous thing where, by conflating school with education, we think that you have to go to school to become educated. If you look at some of the smartest people on the planet right now, they did not go to school, but they are highly educated. And I first want to define those terms because, for us in the United States, for us to say, okay, he's well educated. Okay, he's a graduate degree. He we're on his undergrad. He went to this school, Ivy League to this school. Now we're saying, okay, he's highly educated. That's not true. That is a very dangerous thing. So for us, I want critical thinkers. For my school, Apogee, we have 2 programs: Apogee Strong, which is an online mentorship where we're really focusing on how people think, how fathers treat their children, how you're going to be a head of a household as a mom or a dad. and how young men and young women approach life. That's apogee strong. And then there's the actual physical campus called apogee.
What does apogee mean?
Apogee is to summit. It's to reach the pinnacle of a moment. You know, if you are climbing Everest, when you stick that flag in the top, that is the moment of apogee where you have successfully met your goal of reaching the crescendo of a moment. A crescendo of a masterpiece could be called an apogee.
Okay. If you like this clip and you want to hear the whole episode, click at the bottom of your screen.